Good morning, River Rocks Church. Hope everyone's having a great morning so far. My name's Trent. I'll be in the scripture with you this morning. We're going to be in Philippians chapter 2, verses 25 to 30. It goes like this. Yet I consider it necessary to send to you Epaphroditus, my brother, fellow worker, and fellow soldier, but your messenger and the one who ministered to my need, since he was longing to you all, and was distressed because he had heard that he was sick. For indeed he was sick almost unto death, but God had mercy on him, not only on him, but on me also, lest I should have sorrow upon sorrow. Therefore I sent him the more eagerly, that when you see him again you may rejoice, and may be less sorrowful. Receive him therefore in the Lord with all gladness, and held such men in esteem, because for the work of Christ he came close to death, not regarding his life, to supply what was lacking in your service towards me. So what we see in this scripture is it's a lot of information, and many times people will read straight through this because it's the quote-unquote history of the Bible, and it's the parts that people, it's not the key verses that people read and love, and a life verse and everything like that. But what we do see is that Paul mentions this man, Epaphroditus, and this man, it says, is the messenger of this letter to the Philippian church, the church of Philippi, which gives us some pretty cool history to understand that how this is all done. So we understand that in this moment, Paul is getting a letter. He is writing this letter as he's imprisoned in Rome, and is somehow getting it to Epaphroditus, and Epaphroditus is therefore getting it to the Philippian church, the church of Philippi. And what we understand, what is really cool, is the scripture says that Epaphroditus was actually sick in this moment, that he was sick, not just like a normal cold, but for indeed he was sick almost unto death, meaning that this sickness was about to take his life. And it says, but God had mercy on him, not only on him, but on me also, lest I should have sorrow upon sorrow, showing that for Paul, Epaphroditus was a very, very close person in his life. Paul referred to him as a soldier for the work that he did for him in the ministry and for the Lord. But we see that what Paul is saying is God not only helped Epaphroditus by healing him and helping his sickness and getting him through and allowing for him to endure by, I'm sure, God's strength rather than his own, but he also prevented Paul from having sorrow upon sorrow, about having his death of Epaphroditus on top of being imprisoned by Rome, so much that his heart couldn't take it, that God protected him in this moment as well through the mercy that he gave Epaphroditus and Paul. We also see that it says, because of the work of Christ, he came close to death, showing that Epaphroditus worked to support the ministry, so much so that he was almost to the point of death, showing that the sickness could have been caused from the work that he did for the Lord. And it's a hard thing many times when people get sick, people get ill because of the work that they do for the Lord, and we struggle with it because we, in our minds, say, well, we're doing God's work. How is this person becoming ill? How is this person facing adversity? How is this person facing death or trials or whatever it may be for the Lord? And the reality is that we're not called to anything different. We're still people. We're still humans. Since we have God, we have somebody that we can lean on compared to the world. We have somebody that we can go to in these times of struggles. But regardless, we're people that are going to face hardship. And as Christians, we're called to face hardship. We're called to face tough things. We look at the life of Christ, and Christ didn't have an easy life just because he himself was God. Actually, he had the most difficult life because he was God, because he stood up and was radically different than everybody else that was around him. And that's what we're called to be, is radically different than everybody around us, because that's the life that Christ lived. And for Epaphroditus, that's the life that he lived. For Paul, that's the life that he lived and was willing to do so. For Epaphroditus, up to the point of death through his sickness. For Paul, to his death. For many of the apostles, to their death. For many of the Christians today, to their death. And so my plea with you, however hard it might be, whatever difficulty you face, struggle you're going through, sickness you're facing, the Lord will endure with you and guide you through this process if you lean unto him and not your own understanding and not your own strength, but put everything over to him. Let him guide you in this process, as Epaphroditus did, as Paul did, and his mercy will fall upon you. I love you guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day.